Welcome back to Orca Boats. Today is the day we're going to epoxy coat the first set of panels on the PT11. I used West System resin, 105 resin with 207 clear coat hardener. I like to pump one of each, counting so there's no mistakes in the proper ratio, and then giving it a good stir. So with the batch mixed up very well for a few minutes, I just poured the resin into a small paint tray and begin by just rolling on the epoxy, starting in the middle of the panel so we can push any excess glass toward the ends. Starting in the middle also helps to anchor the glass to the panels so nothing is sliding around, although it does tend to want to grab the fiberglass and lift it up in sections. So starting off very gently, giving it a good saturation, and then rolling each panel towards the ends, and then moving on to the next panel. It always takes a few seconds for the glass to fully clear, and then we can just continue rolling on and come back and press it down with the roller to get a good bond between the fiberglass and the plywood. So as you can see, I'm going to roll that roller towards the ends of the glass. Rolling back tends to want to grab the edge and pull it up, but it's easy enough to press back down. Moving on to panel number 3, probably 20 minutes into the process so far, mixing up small batches of epoxy as you go, pouring it in the tray and rolling it out. Again, starting in the middle of the panel and working towards the end of each. Here you'll notice that I detected, a small little bit of dust underneath the glass. Thankfully it was near the very edge. I was just able to lift it up, slip my finger in there and slide that little bit out. And moving around to the other side of the workbench, finish off with the last 2 panels. Just to give you an idea, I think I went through about 20 pumps of resin plus 20 pumps of hardener on coating these 5 panels with a bit of glass, and 1/2 of one roller cover basically. Coming back to the project about 4 hours later at room temperature, it's time for the second coat of resin, which is a little bit easier and faster than the first. And simply mix up the epoxy, resin and hardener, pour a little onto the panel, and then just use the roller to spread it around. Went pretty fast. It's a second coat, maybe 15 minutes, and following that again 4 hours later, a third coat went on so that the fiberglass is fully buried and saturated in epoxy, and enough there so that these panels can be sanded smooth, because these panels are the inside of the rowboat and will be finished bright. Following the application by roller on the second and third fill coats, I like to brush it out with a dry, cheap disposable chip brush. The roller tends to add a texture to it and a bit of air bubbles, and the brush will smooth that out and allow the resin to flow out nicely to a nice smooth surface. And again, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to follow this build and other projects in the Orca Boat Shop.